This is SEMA Central. I'm Kevin Ostie here at the 2017 SEMA Trade Show in Las Vegas, joined by two gentlemen that are really supremely instrumental in having this show come together. Mr. Pete MacGillivray, Vice President of the show and communications for SEMA, and Tom Gattuso, is that pronounced correctly?
Yeah, Gattuso.
Gattuso, and you're kind of the operations guy that
He's the operations genius.
the operations genius, without a doubt.
I'm the show nerd.
He's behind the curtain and in front of the curtain. He's all over the show.
In your case, we see this amazing, I equate it more to a city than a show.
Sure.
Multiple buildings. How many square feet are we talking about?
We're probably more than 2 million net square feet of activity.
Yeah.
So it's a larger campus than we've had in really our 51-year history. So there's a lot going on, but to put a number to it, I'd say 2 million square feet, somewhere in that ballpark.
Just an unbelievable achievement to have this whole thing come together.
Really what you're looking at is 3 years worth of work. We're always 3 years ahead. So we're working on 2020, kind of as we speak, from a contractual phase and wondering what our footprint's going to look like. But it really starts to hone in about 12 months out. There's a whole team of people that work on the show. And really for us, it's all about this long-term plan becoming a mid-term plan, becoming a short-term plan, and having it all to come together. And that, for me, that's the most exciting part, is you're in this area of, it seems like it's chaos, and it's really controlled chaos. And knowing that there's a plan, and knowing that if you work the plan, it's all going to come together, it's very calming for an operations person, because you know that there's this vision and there's this plan and it's going to happen. So I equate it for our industry much like a car build. When everything is blown apart and you don't know how it's going to get back together, and there's that one guy that has the vision and he knows how it's going to get back together, for us, from an operations standpoint, that's kind of what the SEMA Show is like. We know it's going to come together.
And Tom is that guy. Tom is that guy who puts it all back together.
Yeah.
I think one thing that Tom can jump in and expand on is, a lot of times when people ask us to quantify the show, how's the show? How big is it? They talk about the size of the show. And in our bylaws, in our mission statement, there isn't anything about the show being big. But there is something about the show, and Tom, why don't you explain?
Yeah, so our bylaws basically say that we're supposed to produce the industry's leading trade show. So we interpret leading to just be the best. We want to be the best trade show. And really what we're doing is we're building this global marketplace in an environment that brings a buyer and a seller together. And that for us is success. If we can have conversations happening on the show floor between buyers and sellers, that's really the goal. And behind all that, we build this environment. Behind all that is all the vehicle technology innovation, all the passion, all that stuff the industry brings to it. So we just kind of set the stage. We build this awesome environment, and then the global marketplace comes together and does the business. And this magic happens, once a year, and the industry has this check-in, and it's just awesome. It's such a strong rush of adrenaline, and to see other people appreciate things that you've worked for 3 years on is just so gratifying.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. There's magic here, and there's this sense of excitement. And what you don't have is people that feel like they're pushed in a corner or in a dark space or battling a leaky roof or just bad conditions. It's not too loud or windy or any of these things that this could be. This feels like it's here all the time.
Right.
It feels like a permanent structure, and we just come in and we're like, oh yeah, right. We're going to be here. Because you step in the big room and you got lights and you got just an energetic environment, and you're responsible for providing the plan and the strategy to bring all that stuff in. A lot of people don't realize this all has to go home.
Right. No, and it does, and really everything that's here is deliberate. There's concessions exactly where we want them. There's booths exactly where we want them. There's features. And it all ties together, and it all has a purpose. So it's this vision, and Peter, I think, leads that for our association, leads this vision and how the show's going to evolve. And it's exciting because we get to have a very hands-off board of directors where they're seeing and trusting that the show's going in a great direction. And in the 16 years that Peter's been involved with it, it really has evolved into this great event. And it's just awesome to be able to work together.
By the way, I'm just along for the ride. The exhibitors make the magic. Make no mistake about it. We just come in, roll the carpet out, and flip the lights on.
Right, that's it.
Then the good stuff happens.
That's it.
But operationally, for example, in an hour and 20 minutes, very soon, there's going to be 1,200 cars that go from this side of the street to that side of the street in a couple hours. What takes 4 days to load in, he's figured out a way to unload it in 2 hours.
Yeah, and it's not just 1,200 cars. It's 1,200, in some cases, one-of-one, priceless, hand-built show cars.
Oh yeah, no
so
two of those.
Special deal.
No two cars are the same.
Yeah.
They're all.
You're not
very
driving
unique.
a lot full of used cars across the street, you know, and just getting in turn to key and go. These are every one has a circumstance.
Right. No, and for me that's an exciting part because all week long they're talking about the innovation and how it can work in the real world. And I think when the rubber hits the road, literally, that's where the excitement happens, and that's where you start to see the passion, and you get to feel the rumble of the engine, and you really get to see people react to these works of art that people have built over the last 12 months. And again, it's that spark of awesomeness, you know, how great this industry is, and how we can celebrate it in so many different ways. So, you know, I think we're one of very few trade shows on the planet that has a media event and 20,000 people watching a trade show move out. You know, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And we've turned it into this awesome branding opportunity for all of our manufacturers. So you'll see that they're all here, they're all participating, and then they go over to SEMA Ignited, and it's just the perfect end to what's really a spectacular week of doing business.
It is, and it's a great way to make something that might seem insignificant to somebody who doesn't know into something special.
Well, and it's all about value. The way to have the best industry trade show is to create a lot of value. And everybody's definition of value, and there's nearly 2,500 exhibitors here, everybody's definition of value is different, and it's our job as a team to deliver value to every single one of them. And so you've got things like the SEMA Cruise, which is consumer facing, and it's a media event. There were over 1 billion media impressions generated just in our parade last year. Well, if you're on the other side of that camera, if you're the one that those consumers are posting about, and you're a manufacturer, that's likely to be valuable to you.
That matters.
And beyond the stellar buyers that come and visit the show and work the show, work this marketplace, well, that's a value proposition too. And for others, it's a little bit of both. And we work hard in those years leading up to every annual show to create touch points and activations that deliver value for the exhibitors.
So that's kind of some of your strategic planning, is looking at each year and say, hey, you know, we have to do something anyway. Is there a way that we can build in value and make it attractive and make it more worthwhile and make people want to get involved, in addition to the structures? You know?
And it's not going to work. Everything isn't going to work for everybody.
Yeah.
The hope is, and the goal is, the obligation is to create some piece of value in everything that we do during the week. We deliver value in some form or fashion to everybody. And when you consider that we're in our 51st year, people tend to vote with their feet. People are making an investment in this show because they're getting value, not because they have to. This is a choice. This investment is a choice, and it's our job to make sure that we don't let them down.
It's amazing to me, and this is my 21st year doing this show, and it's one of those deals that it doesn't matter why you came here, it activates some part of you and every aspect of the industry, seeing cars, seeing parts, making transactions, making plans, seeing the show, working with other people, getting business advice, satisfying a social need. So I've done this more than I've done anything else in my life, and it's a given. It's like, oh yeah, SEMA, yeah. And everybody I know is, oh yeah, well that time of year you'll be there. You know?
Right.
And once they come, if they're in the industry, then they're always here. So you're right, it keeps getting
Well, and the goal also is when those buyers settle into their airplane seat in the next few hours and they're flying home and that plane is screaming down the runway and right before liftoff, that they close their eyes and say, you know, I can't wait to come back.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I need a break, but I can't wait to come back.
We don't take that for granted. Yeah. We've got to deliver something of value to the buyers too, and make sure that we're meeting their expectations. So there's a lot of work curating the show floor with exhibitors that meet our criteria. So when the buyers show up, they're seeing what they want to see in terms of the new products and the new product showcase, the exhibitors on the show floor, the networking, the education. All of those things are really intended to deliver the value to them too.
Yeah, well, Tom, I will say, and I don't know if you get this kind of feedback often, but because when people talk to you, it's always about the big numbers and the big show and everything else. But I really believe that the way you've put this together, it has an intrinsic quality level that is just so nice. And like I was saying before, you don't have broken windows and an unsafe feel, or I mean, this is, if you can't get your business done here, I mean, it's on you.
Right.
You know, because the facility's in place. It's like, here's a golden ball field, man. Here's a ball and a bat. Go to town.
Right.
So we appreciate that.
One of the things that we like to key in on is a one-person experience. You know, so when you produce an event that has 180,000 registrants, it's easy to get caught up in that and just produce it for big. So we focus on what the experience is for one single person, one single buyer, one single exhibitor, and one single conversation. And when we approach it like that, our exit signs, our entrance signs, everything we do around here is a vision of one person and what's that one person's experience going to be like. And then when we have people in the building, it's just exponentially beneficial to everybody. So as long as we keep grounded with that, and I think that's probably one of the most important things at our association, is we have this ability to just stay grounded because we're represented by our members and they're so grassroots with the industry. You know, we're the largest gathering of small business in America, and it's a lot of small companies. We're not full of Fortune 500 companies. We've got a lot of people that are just innovating in their shops. So we need to know that that person, it's important for them. It's their marketing spend for the year in some cases, and we have to make it valuable to them. And we look at it from their eyes and go, okay, what will they want? And what will work for them? So a lot of times, we've built this show with that one single person in mind, and then we adapt it to some of the larger volume people. And that I think has been something that's helped the industry understand that our association gets them, and that this trade show is really for the whole breadth of the industry, and they want to bring their innovations here, and the rest is history.
Well, congratulations again. You pulled it off, you know, masterfully, and it's an awesome experience every year, and it's staggering, but so personal that what you just told me you've achieved. So thank you. And Peter, thank you for the opportunity to be here this week and help out with this stuff.
No, you did a great job.
It's been an honor.
We enjoy watching your exploits on social media.
Well,
and what's your website again?
VATV is our show, and we're kind of a three-ring circus because we produce media about cars, we have a shop, we build cars, we buy parts, we sell parts, we install parts, we report on parts, we work with customers, we display here, we've got a car in there, we're covering the event. So we're kind of a mini microcosm of the whole thing.
So, you know, a passionate entrepreneur with a business. I don't think you work in like a skyscraper on Madison Avenue. Your studio
no.
is probably a lot like a lot of the shops where some of the founding fathers of SEMA built their companies. And you know, you're really kind of a great example of like the people that we're serving and the folks that just put their heart and soul into what they do, and it shows. You've done a stellar job this week. Well, and you know, there's people are saying, hey, you know, OC's like killing it in SEMA Central. And the reason you are is because you're from this industry, you're from the fabric, just like Ed Tilrock is.
Oh yeah.
That did all the signage around here. Tom mentioned the other day, he was like, you know, other shows, the guy that prints the sign designs the sign.
Yeah, yeah, no.
At the SEMA show, we have people who their heart and souls are into what they do, and they're working on it. Tom's a car guy. Tom's a hot rodder. He's a show geek too, but he's a hot rodder at heart.
Yeah.
And we like to have everybody on the team have that passion for this industry because they're just going the extra mile for it. And you've done that for us, and we appreciate that.
We definitely appreciate that.
So thank you.
Guys, we appreciate it. And I'm lucky that we have a great team that works in my shop. My wife is part of the team. Yeah. All of us are organically in this. This is what we do. So
good stuff. Well, thanks, Kev.
Great.
Thank you again, Tom. Peter, thank you.
Thanks.
Capping off a tremendous experience here at the SEMA Show 2017 in Vegas with a couple of guys that bring it to you and the rest of the industry here. Thank you.